Hello. Welcome to Promise Resource Network. This is Expansions with me. I'm Jane. Just want to give Charles a big shout out for reminding me to turn the mic on. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. So before we begin, and letting everyone just kind of arrive here online, arrive here in this real space at Promise Resource Network, I wanted to offer some information. So information numero uno. It's the welcome desk number. So if you have any questions about Promise Resource Network, you have a desire to be a peer support, to receive peer support, you want to donate $1 billion, like whatever that is, if you want to know more about Promise Resource Network, please feel free to call the welcome desk number. The number is 704-390-7709, and they'll guide you to whoever it is you need to speak with. So any kind of loving that you need, call the welcome desk because duh. And also, while I have you here, the warm line number is what I want to share. So check it, yo. So the warm line, please, y'all, check this out. So it's a 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, totally free, confidential number that you can call to have a listening ear. So totally neutral. Loving, kind people on the other end. So basically, if you want to have someone to talk to that's maybe not your mother, your brother, your lover, your father, your friend, but somebody that just loves you because you're just you, highly encourage the warm line. The number to that is 833-390-7728. We have a four-legged member here because we are outside, so I'm really excited about the four-legged member. So yeah, and if you are in the Charlotte area and you're like, hey, I want to be there in the for real life, like come here in real life, Tuesdays, this time at Promise Resource Network at 2224 The Plaza. Go in the back near the parking lot. Don't go in the front door. Anyway, let me get this little thing up and say hey to everybody that's hopping on. Oh, hey, everybody's hopping on. Oh, look at everybody who's here on this internet space. That's so good to see y'all. Awesome. So please chime in, give me your 2 cents, your information, your questions, your comments, your concerns, and I will add it to this mix and we'll keep everything rolling. So somebody just pulled up, so I'm gonna give them a minute to arrive while I just do a little check-in. So I'm curious, how are y'all feeling? Let me know. Welcome, y'all. I'm so happy you're here. Me too. Me too. So I'm curious. I would like to do a little feelings check-in. How you feeling?
Feeling good, relaxed. Had a day off today, so I'm just kind of relaxing. Like I said, I've been traveling back and forth to New York recently, so it's just good to be back here. Settling back in.
Nice. You feel like you're kind of grounding back in?
Yes.
Kind of like, and land.
Yes.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. How you feeling, Alan?
Low energy. Looking for some positive input, hearing positive, uplifting comments from everyone and being able to make my own contribution.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. And how you feeling?
Feel good.
I understand that. It's like there's so much chaos, and yet I want to find calm. I'm going to find calm in the chaos. Hey, how you doing? Welcome. Doing well. How you feeling?
I'm good. My meditation practice is like deepening a lot. So
Ooh.
It's kind of cool to like watch that.
Nice.
And then everything else, like I feel like things on the outside are getting more chaotic to like just like complement the craziness that like the meditation practice is like doing away with. It's kind of cool.
Oh, that balance. The chaos and the calm, the chaos, the calm, the chaos, the calm, the chaos, the calm. I'm just doing a feelings check-in. How you feeling?
Well, Remnants of frustration from the traffic, construction, those kind of generalities. But overall, great. Feel good.
I love that you can feel frustrated and feel great at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just remnants. Still good. And well, I'm good.
I love the balance.
Thanks.
Thank you. And I didn't get to ask the two of you, is it okay if I say your names or would you rather me not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. I want to see what, oh, hey, we got Kim is here. Hey, Linda. My mom's here. She's doing great with a little emoji. I love emojis. Blake is in the house. Galactic Funk, my friend. Hey, you're feeling lighter today as you've done some inner work and moved some negative energy. Yes, all about healing these days. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, it is. Oh, it is. I love healing. It's fantastic. I'm really happy that you're feeling lighter, Blake. I'm happy you're here too. So I would like to just kind of anchor us in and kind of get all on the same frequency. We've got a lot of energy that we've all kind of experienced ourselves today. We have a lot of energy from a new little four-legged, which is always exciting. And sometimes I feel like dogs are so funny because they literally are just like little embodiments of me, of you, of us. You know, like, you know, I'm moving around. I'm a dog. I'm sniffing. I'm this. I'm that. I'm calm. I'm napping. I'm like all spastastic, and we find it so cute in dogs. Bless you. And when it's in human, we tend to get annoyed, right? We tend to get annoyed when the humans are spastastic all over the place. Stand up, sit down, this, left, right, because we can't follow along. Isn't that funny? And yet when dogs do it, it's like, oh my God, you're just so cute. Which is totally going to tie into what I want to share about today. So perfect timing.
Of course. Yeah.
What is your pup's name?
Her name's Nova.
Nova? Nova, I'm not asking you consent for saying your name because you don't have thumbs to give a consent. Bing.
Or a voice.
Or a voice, I know, right? Will she be all right with the tinctures?
No, she'll probably love them.
All right. So y'all just start to connect with your breath. Become real present with you. Start to settle in amidst the chaos that is life. Feel this anchor of your body, of your breath, of this space of the eternal now that we are in always. Feeling your body, feel the weight of your body on this earth. Feel the air on your skin, the air going in and out of your lungs. Let your shoulders become soft. Start to feel the experiential surrender with every exhale. Maybe your temples soften. Maybe your glutes relax. Maybe you notice that your breath becomes more expansive and fulfilling. Starting to become the witness to you in this now moment. Leaving behind anything that happened previous to this now. Letting go of ideas of what will happen after this now. And settling into presence. Together we'll take a big breath in and a big breath out. And now we're here. Now I feel here. I feel like we are all on the same page. So, you know, it's so interesting. The conversation that I would like to kind of start off with and expand, and everything's malleable and we can talk about whatever it is we want to talk about. However, I think this is fun. So you know, just talking about how like when dogs act a certain way or when kids act a certain way, we find it so endearing, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so annoyed that the dog just pooped on the floor. Meh, oh well, you know, we even walk dogs and we just pick them up in little poo bags and we're just so like, whatever, holding little bags of poop, you know. And we offer children and dogs especially, we offer dogs so much grace in this world. And thinking about that with this topic about spiritual gifts and magic that I wanted to kind of bring to the table and just kind of unpack and play with. Because what I've recognized in life is that we all have spiritual gifts. We all are gifted beyond measure. And what happens is we grow up in this society, in this system that says you must conform. You must be this way, look this way, act this way, speak this way, move this way. You must be just like this to be acceptable. And you must see things the way I see them so that you can be right like I am. Right? These are the messages that we're taught. So what we do in that time of our life, these formative years as a child, we see things, we hear things, we experience things, we know things, and we are told that we are wrong, that it's not real, that it's just make-believe. Stop pretending, stop playing, grow up, see it this way, work for the man, make the money, do the thing like this. So we start to pack away in our subconscious energy system and body all of these big, beautiful gifts and talents for us to later remember and reclaim and kind of like show off to the world. And that's what I kind of want to talk about and expand into. And I just want to share an experience for me because I know I'm not the only one because we're all one. I remember when I was a kid, I knew everything. I knew everything. I knew when I was being lied to. I knew when someone had ill intent. I knew when it was not safe to turn left. I knew when it was safe to turn left. I knew things that I don't know how I knew them. I just knew these things. And I didn't know how to hone that, how to use that, how to aim it in a direction that was actually of service. So what had happened was I then became known as a know-it-all. You're just a know-it-all. And I got a know-it-all, yep. And I got bullied for it. Yeah, I got bullied for it and reprimanded for it because an adult doesn't want to have a child know more than them and to tell them that. Because when we speak what we know, when it comes from this higher consciousness, when it comes from spirit, and we speak that truth, it resonates in our body. It's like, whoo, that feels like truth to me. And if it's something that creates cognitive dissonance, then we tend to project and react and retaliate. And it's real easy to do that with a kid because we can control them. They're smaller than us. They don't know better. I know better than them. I'm older. I'm wiser. I know everything. So my experience was that I was a know-it-all, not knowing that it was actually a spiritual gift.
Spiritual gift.
Yep.
I'm looking for that.
All right. Well, we're going to dive into it because I call it, it's one of my Bibles. I study with Cindy Dale. She's an energy metaphysics spiritual teacher. And I read this book in probably like a month or two, probably 2 months, like front to back. I'm just like, I love this book. And and she lists some contemporary spiritual gifts in here. So I want to go over some of them after I'm curious, after I get some of my curiosity kind of satiated. I'm curious, how were y'all when you were a kid? You know, now that you think back, like Could you see things that others couldn't see? Did you have an imaginary friend that you're like, this is more than just an imaginary friend? Like, this is a real entity that walks with me by my side and keeps me safe and protected. Did you hear things? Did you hear sounds or music or tones or voices that you heard like it was on a TV or a radio, and people told you maybe that, no, there's nothing on, you're making it up? Could you sense things? Could you feel energy around? Like, what, when you start to really remember your childhood, is there anything that kind of comes to mind that you're like, you know what? I did do that. Did y'all have anything? What would you mind sharing yours?
I was very into the nature. That to me was like, green was my favorite color because of the grass and everything, and then the sky and everything like that. And I felt like I had an inner knowing, even though I couldn't explain it.
When you say that you were connected to the earth and to nature, could you feel it in your heart, your body? Could you hear it? Could you see it? Could you know it? How did you connect when you think about it?
I don't know. It's just like I was just in tune. Like I was just at one with it. I don't know how to explain it. When you're a kid, it's like there's no like
separation.
Yeah, separation. So it was just like we were one, and you could be outside all day and not be hungry or anything. Like that's me. Like I could be outside all day and play, and not feel like there's anything else to do because that was enough.
It was almost like you transcended the human aspect of you because you were in your nature of life. You were literally just being life. Cool. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else?
I very much the same. Know it all. That's what they called me all the time. Know it all. I had, my mom would come back and be like, "Man, the parents say that you're know it all. That's what the kids say." I mean, I was brighter than the majority of people around me. I was constantly consuming information. But as far as gifts go, other than just like inherently knowing when people are lying, or inherently just like reading other people's vibrations, information, my connection has always been with people, right? Understanding people. I think that's why I really love psychology. I study it. I just understanding the mind, understanding how people operate, understanding behavior. It's always been just an inherent quality of mine. Just the ease of tapping into my higher self for guidance and then relating that guidance to other people has just always been something of ease for me, but not often. Not often well celebrated by others.
Gotcha. When you would tap into their energy, would you feel it anywhere in your body or sense it beyond knowing?
Well, it depends. If they had good intentions, and I would feel it in my heart, and I would feel warm, it would come out, or I feel like in my root chakra, I feel grounded. But if they were, they had ill intentions, and they had, like, I might get sick, like a stomach issue, or if they touched my body, I would feel like cramps of my arm that wouldn't go away unless I cleared my energy. Just things like that.
Thank you for sharing that. So being able to pick up on other people's energy, and it's like, oh, it's like you're vibing with me. I can feel this in my heart. It feels good, right? And then it's like, you don't necessarily feel good to me. You don't feel safe to me. I'm actually going to feel queasy. My muscles are going to react. So it's like a physical empath right there, right? Very empathic. Like, oh, I'm not only aware of your energy, but my body's like, hold up, buttercup. I'm going to tell you what's up. That's cool. Thank you for sharing that. I want to share what Charles says. He says, couldn't see things like that. I was more of a sponge that soaked up ideas and theories. I wanted to know and experience it all. Interesting. Thank you for sharing that. And then Mama Jane, she has the same names anyway, says, I could sense and feel things much deeper than my friends. Always wanted discussions to continue further, but no one else did. Felt different from others. That's a big sign right there, is that feeling different. Kind of like being put in like a special program. Special meaning in any direction, right? Like you're special because you're so much smarter than, or you're special because you're not as smart as. Either direction it would go, you actually were sometimes probably treated just a little differently, right? Anyone else have anything that they want to share about like just growing up?
I'd say for me, it's still relevant, being in the university and somebody asking a question and me answering it just off the top of my head. And knowing that what I'm saying is truth. And then being questioned what the citation is.
How do you know this? Prove
Right.
what you know. That always sucks because you're like,
it's been that way my entire life. So just knowing things.
It's interesting because I feel like with that type of gift, that it's like, you know the thing, you don't know how you know the thing, you just know the thing, like you know it's going to rain, but it's not because of anything. And then someone's like, well, how do you know? And you're like, I don't know. And then 10 minutes later, you're like, okay, well, now I can feel the pressure just shifted, but it's like, and I feel like oftentimes when you're always asked, well, how do you know? Then you just spend a lot of time in your life just like absorbing information. I'm going to read a lot of books, so that you can say, this is how I know. Fine. I have proof now. This is my source. I have to show you the source because the invisible source doesn't count, right? Unless you write a certain book and then the book becomes the proof of the source. And it's interesting how that works.
And at the same time, like, it does cause me to question where I got the information from, because like it could have easily been tying dots together from different papers, and at the same time it could have just been intuitive. So yeah, and like I'm sure that there's a sense of doubt there. So
Thank you for sharing that. I think that's gonna loop back in. What about you, Miguel?
Just along what she said, I grew up in Alaska, so a lot of my childhood was just, I don't know if it came naturally, if I was just placed in that environment, but I grew up outside. My whole childhood I was outside, and I just always felt connected to that, and that, I to this day, I get a lot of comfort and ease just being outdoors, and I don't know if it just was in me or if it was part of my upbringing, but just in alignment with what she said, I really get a lot of enjoyment and happiness just from being outside.
And something to these things that I want to draw awareness to. So oftentimes we have these gifts and people don't know how to handle us, right? And imagine, right? So say you have a spiritual gift and you can see things, sense things, know things, whatever. You know what the trees are talking about. You're like, I know what the trees are feeling. And you can't even put words to it, right? And so then what happens is the system, right? So whether it's your parents, the school, the church, the whatever, they say, you're not normal, okay? So we need to dull you down, confine you, put you in this way of being, or they're going to doubt you. They just don't believe you. They end up ignoring you. I don't believe you. Like, whatever. You're just a kid. You're just making it up. Like they marginalize you, right? So then we start to form deep-seated doubts in our neural pathways. So these connections literally don't stay as active. And we form new ones that say, well, what I know, what I see, what I feel deep in my truth isn't real, right? And so then, it's another dog. So then what we'll do, excuse me, Nova. I just love dogs. Anyway, and then sometimes what we'll do is if we are confined in enough time, we don't know how to handle that. And so we tend to do things that distract ourselves from those discomforts. So that can look like drugs, alcohol, relationships, any form of distraction, you name it, because we can't handle being told that what I am isn't real or right or acknowledged or supported, Because like, especially, for the two of you, and just, I'm curious, so this is a statement question. In my head, children are like, we're made to be free. We're made to be agile and in movement and outside and naked and play and in the elements and water and sand and dirt and like, we're made to be free. So for me, in my head, if a child is very connected to that natural aspect of themselves, and if they're made to put on a uniform, right? Or wear clothes that they just don't feel comfortable in. They're wearing corduroy when they just want to wear like a one-piece romper thing. That can even feel confining and constricting. So I'm curious, does that speak to y'all? Did y'all have anything like that in your life? Am I speaking about you?
I felt like I was always put in a box. Yeah, for sure. Like, because my parents are like they come from a very like strict, like old-fashioned way. So me being the person that I am, not wanting to comply with these things, I felt like I was always constantly battling myself because I wanted to be one way, but I was told to be another way because I wouldn't be appropriate for the society. That the way I am.
That's such a beautiful way to grow up, isn't it? When who you are isn't appropriate.
Yeah.
Because wow, that's a real great way to just get little programs of shame and guilt and self-blame and blaming others and judgment and all these real fun things that we get to later unpack just to let the spiritual gift of me be. Isn't that fun? Y'all, life, it's a hoot. Were you like that? Did you feel any times or experiences of confinement, or were you supported in that freedom?
I had a pretty bad childhood. I was forced to grow up pretty quick. I was forced to grow up really fast. So my early, childhood memories aren't the best. So I learned, I learned a lot. I had to grow up fast, is really it. I didn't really get to do a lot of the things that most children, I think, are afforded the opportunity to, right? And then being the only, boy in the house with all females, it was a different role. So it was tough. But when, like I said, it ties back to when I was able to get away from the home. That's where I found, my peace was being outdoors, right? So I spent a lot of time from the chaos in the house by just, venturing out into the woods, and I did that a lot.
Thank you for sharing that. And that just kind of made me think about gender roles in relation to spiritual gifts. Right? So typically people that are in a man appearing body. So I'm going to say in a man body. And I mean, whether you identify with that, if it appears to be a man, you're going to be treated a certain way, especially in previous generations. So that's how I'm speaking to that. So it's like, if you are in a man body, oh my gosh, like you're not even supposed to, previous to these nows that we're breaking out of, but you're not supposed to feel emotions, express emotions unless it's anger, and then that's okay. But no, I'm not that much, and women are, oh yeah, she's just so emotional. She's just all over the place. Well, unless you're too much, and then you're a bitch, So even our expression of everything was so boxed in just based on our bodies, and we all have so much capacity to be this like spiritual being. And our society has really shaped and forcibly shaped and molded us to fit in a really small space of expression. So much so that when we would talk about these things, right? Oh my gosh, did you see that? I just saw an angel next to you. I didn't really just now, but like if I were to say that, especially 5, 10, 20 years ago, or even as a kid, can you imagine the potential responses? If I grew up in a Catholic church, I would either be put on a pedestal or I would be told I need to have an exorcism. You know, I had an aunt that would speak in tongues. Not tongues. She would speak in tongue. Half the family thought she was bonkers. The other half thought, oh God, she's channeling. Right? So it's like it hasn't even been safe for us to openly talk about spiritual gifts. Because then it's like you see things that aren't there. Well, let me label you and let me give you a pharmaceutical. Okay. Let me dull you down. Right? So that's why I'm like really grateful that we're even having this discussion, because I want to draw so much awareness and light to like the capacity of the spiritual bodies that we are. Hello, Tina. Happy you're joining us. Really? We can just blow on you. Really? I think that they're tired of biting me. I got bitten up last night by mosquitoes, and I was like, man, y'all, stop it. Water. Let me get some of this going. Maybe this will keep them away. It'll smoke them out. So I'm not going to oh, yes. Tina says, my mental illness was seen as the spiritual gift of wisdom. Or, yeah. And that is interesting. You know, that we will have spiritual gifts and we don't know how to be with them. Oh, that's what else I was going to say. Something else that happens with a lot of spiritual gifts. Think about children that we have labeled over the years as autistic, Asperger's. Now that's not a thing. Back to autistic. You know, we've labeled them as being on the spectrum. You know, and then at first, when they first really identified autism as a thing, they tried to shift the child. Okay, well, this child is special, but you still need to make us comfortable so that we can accept you. And now, luckily, that's shifted, and it's like, okay, you're special. How can we support you? You know, so like the mentality around it has shifted so much, and I'm really grateful for that. Super grateful for that. And then Tina shares also that she needed meds and then could harness the spiritual gifts. Yeah, that's a thing too, because sometimes we it's kind of like a raging river. It works really well when it's within the banks. You know, like if that raging river is between those banks, golden pony boy, it's safe as can be. As soon as it breaks out of those banks, it's not safe, right? You don't know where it's going to go. So there's definitely a place for sure for so much allopathic care. I want to read a couple of spiritual gifts and see if any of them resonate. And I didn't realize that I even had some of these spiritual gifts until they were brought into my awareness. And I was like, oh my gosh. And not only that, I also want to say that like even in all of these that are listed, like every person is unique. So like you may have this thing where you can smell love. Maybe love has a smell that is, you can't even name it, but you smell something. There's a sense that goes into this nose and olfactory system that activates your third eye and makes your heart pound. And there's nothing ever been written about it. It is still a spiritual gift. So kind of bringing that into your awareness that, oh, wow, anything that I am is a spiritual gift when I can translate spirit in my own way. This one I thought was really cool. It's called Aeromancy, Aeromancy, and it's interpreting the shapes of clouds. Yep. Hashtag me too.
That's my favorite thing in nature are clouds. I got married in the clouds. Like, I love clouds.
Yes. And it's interesting because like, imagine that this is one of your spiritual gifts, right? That you literally connect to information, to spirit, to the infinite. You get messages of the highest when you are able to see clouds. And what if you grow up in a smog-filled city? What if you grow up in Lima, Peru? Now you're detached to so much of your connection right? And you don't know it until you like leave the city and you look up and you're like, oh my God, I am seen, I understand, right? Let's see. Aura reading. Have y'all ever heard of that? Right? Yeah, Tina, it's a cool gift, right? Reading clouds. Like what? But aura reading. Have y'all ever seen anyone or met anyone that's like, oh my God, I see your aura. Oh, it's blue and purples or whatever. Like that's a thing because we have an energy field around us. Why wouldn't some people be able to see it? You know, like I can hear tunes and songs that maybe Miguel can't. It doesn't mean that those sounds aren't there. It means that I can hear them, you know? This is pretty cool. It's called bibliomancy, and it's interpreting a passage chosen at random from a book.
I think I can do that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I can do that.
I love that I'm picking these off, like just randomly.
Can you what?
You can interpret a passage chosen at random from a book.
Now or when I was a kid?
Anytime. Is that something that you've been able to do?
Interpret a passage.
Just chosen out at random in a book. So like if you open a book and you're like, and you read something and it's like, you know it, you can interpret it. You can get all this information just from reading this little baby bit in a book. That's not been my thing. But cool, right?
It is cool.
Some of these, when I read them, I'm like, I can do these things and I don't know if I want to tell everybody because that's still how I subconsciously feel about it. Isn't that funny? Like I can feel my own resistance. Okay, here's one. Allomancy. Never have I heard of this, but it's reading the patterns of salt cast into the air after it falls to the floor. So taking salt and then and it lands and you can see and interpret a pattern. And I've known, I've been friends with a lot of people from all around the world. And there was a woman that I met that was from Greece and a woman also from Turkey. And they both could read the tea leaves and also the bottom of the cup from drinking Turkish coffee because it has so many grounds in it. And it would leave this pattern and they could read the message. And it would be like having someone tell you something and you're like, how did you know this? And they're like, I don't know, the leaves told me. I'm just reading to you what I'm seeing. You know, but apparently allomancy is doing it with salt. Isn't that weird? Isn't that cool? No, I don't mind. No, you do. You do you.
Think about, you know how sometimes when
Salt on the floor.
they put it on like a speaker or a sound and it makes the shape.
Cymatics.
You know, what is that called?
Cymatics.
Yeah. That's what I was
Yes.
thinking when you said that, is like how the vibration like will make those patterns.
Yes.
Salt or whatever it is.
Yes. Ooh.
That's what I thought of there.
That's interesting. Y'all want to hear something really cool? So I met this dude and he invented a machine. I'm so excited that I choked on my spit. So he invented this machine and he put this like little tray of water in it on the bottom, set up kind of like a microscope. So there's like a camera, little thing of water with dye in it, and vibrations would go through it. And so you would see the cymatics, the sacred geometry from the different frequencies that were playing. The cool thing, right? Because that's not cool enough, right? The cool thing is that because everything is connected and consciousness is everything, and we are one, even with the water and the elements and the neighbors and this. So we're in a group and we're watching this water because he's projecting it on this like big screen, and we're watching all these beautiful shapes just moving and morphing. And then we noticed that it had a pattern and it was kind of spinning clockwise. And so we're like, well, let's see if it'll go the other way. So we all thought about it going the other way. And it actually sped up going the same way. And we were like, whoa, it's projected the reflection. So then we were like, so we all thought clockwise, and then it started to morph and spin in the other direction. And we all started to thinking about, we all collectively were like, butterflies. butterflies. Next thing you know, it looked like butterflies were like morphing in and out of this water. That was such a side note, but how cool is that? Anyway. Ooh, Tina says that may apply to me. Need to try it. The salt. That would be a fun one to try, right? I'm reading what my mom and Charles are saying. I had a housemate once that put salt all over her room floor and she just didn't understand necessarily like how to do clearing energy work. And so I went into this bedroom and I'm like, why is there salt in between my 1947 hardwood floors? Oh God. I was like, can you just make that go away? And she was like, I mean, no. I had a little twitch. So the gift of the knowing is clairsentience. So it's just, I know it. I don't know how I know it. The Biblio. Oh yeah, where you can read a book. That's cool. Yes. There's clairaudience, right? I hear things, right? There's clairvoyance, which is, I always forget all the clairs. So clairvoyance. Oh, I guess I have that too. Dang it. Huh. So clairvoyance is the ability to psychically see non-physical realities.
Non-physical
Realities. Yeah. So it's like you can just see it in your mind's eye. Another reality. Like when someone mentions, as soon as someone mentions a group of beings, the Anunnaki, the Pleiadians, the Atlanteans, the cavemen era, whatever, like I see it. I go to these realities and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm there. Okay. It's just interesting. Random, but levitation is also a spiritual gift. Levitation. Floating objects. Which, could you imagine being a kid? Could you imagine being a child and floating around your G.I. Joes and Barbies and having someone come in? You know they're going to freak out. You know, they're going to be like, you need to take this kid and put it away. You know, or they're going to be like, circus. Right?
Yeah.
Were you going to say something?
Well, they would just be studied. That's what happens to children with like visible and obvious gifts. They're studied.
They get put in a
They're
zoo.
not children anymore.
That's so true. Let's just stare at them. Let's just watch them. Forgetting of just quantum entanglement. And as soon as they start observing it, it changes it. Stop. Which is why being in nature is so valuable, because then you get to be you so bigly. You know? There's so many. So clairsentience. So that is being able to sense others' feelings or senses. Yeah, that's a strong one for you. Has it always been?
Yeah, like internal organ stuff too. Like if somebody has something going on, I like feel it.
What was that topic again?
Yep, clairsentience. So that would be like if everyone arrived here and I'm like, okay, I have this really bad pain in my left foot now and I don't know why. And next thing you know, Alice is like, yeah, so I just accidentally stubbed my left foot toe on a thing. I would literally be able to physically feel what she is feeling. That's a thing.
I think, yeah, as a kid, I felt that a lot, and I think I didn't know how to explain it. That's where I got all jumpy.
Yes, right? Because then all of a sudden you think it's you, and all of a sudden now I got to work on me. What's wrong with me?
This came to mind. I went to a theatrical performance with my best friend, family, and they were giving raffle tickets. And towards the end, they were getting ready to call the winner, and I knew my friend would be the winner. I didn't say anything to her, but she was. I just knew it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't know where that came from, but
So can we talk about that? Like, where do spiritual gifts come from? Where do you think that came from?
somewhere out there.
Where do you think it comes from?
Well, I think we're a conduit, right, of endless energy. So I think that we all have the capability of all these, different aspects. But I think it comes from what we allow in,
Mm.
and what we've been taught. Like knowing a winner, isn't inherently a socially negative thing, right? So we're allowed to do certain things in. Me being empathetic is not socially a dangerous thing. So I can still let these things in. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So the things that are interpreted as something that could be my own seem to be the things that we have kept.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if it's something that makes us different, and we can discern between reality and what is like reality, like that's when we like close ourselves off to it.
Mm. Yeah. What do y'all think? Where do you think this stuff like comes from?
I really don't know.
Where do you think?
Kind of piggyback on that, like we all are energy to some degree, so it's like whatever you allow yourself intuitively know or feel, it's kind of like that energy.
Yes. Yeah, it's like, and I'm so excited to share what Tina and Mama Jane says. So excited. Basically like where does it come from? It's like there's usually this two different answers, right? It comes from something outside of me, something bigger than me, source, God, the universe, something, the space. Or the other answer is it came from somewhere in here. I don't even know where it came from. Because oftentimes we forget that we are source and source is me, because there is nothing that separates us between the two, because we are the channel. We are the container that it flows to and through. It is life that flows through us and to us. So everything that comes to us, that we let come through us, we are being spirit. We're being our spiritual gift embodied. Tina says, as children, we probably have many gifts, but stuff them down because it's weird or it doesn't fit. Exactly. Could you imagine being in second grade and being like, Miss Smith, is your head hurting again? Because my head is hurting and I only get this headache when you're having your cycle, or whatever. They're going to be like, right? So often. Mama Jane says, I think it's a gift from God given when you're born. I think that's a pretty valid, that's words, if, God, source, universe, yes. And Tina says, is deja vu on that list? What do y'all think? Do you think deja vu is on the list of spiritual gifts?
I mean, being aware of another timeline or being aware of precognition, like, yeah.
Or like we're like traveling from a future timeline to like a present, like a past timeline, and travel.
You think deja vu is on the list?
It could be.
It is on the list. And it's defined as sensing that a current event has already occurred. Which, when you think about just the quantum realm of all that is, it's all now. So if I'm open to even that awareness and that knowing that it is all now, and if I can keep my system, my ship of me, right, to travel through all these timelines of now, if this ship is in peace and presence, this like Zen kind of energy space, I'm feeling love, I'm feeling abundant, I'm feeling easy breezy, then I can travel into these timelines in my mind's eye or sense it in any other of these ways.
So it could be like when we're little kids kid and we have that inner knowing, or we have that friend, that could just be ourselves from time.
Easy. Yeah.
Or a pastime, why not?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. When children have imaginary friends, it could be their spirit guides. It literally could be, and this I know is going to sound certain ways to some people because they don't have these beliefs, and that's fine. If you don't believe it, you're not just not going to experience it. But some people could have Puff the Magic Dragon. Do y'all remember Puff the Magic Dragon? Oh, it's make believe. So someone could actually have a dragon as their spirit guide. They could have an angel. They could have Jesus. They could have Buddha. Anybody. They could have, your next door neighbor that just loved that land so much, that just won't leave, and then we call them ghosts. It's so funny. Oh, you see ghosts. Tina says, I usually dream the event the night before, always personal, haven't experienced a universal event yet. So if you dream the event, that's different. Because I have that. I'll try to find the name of that. It's a really long list. It kind of goes into precognition, but not in dream state, because precognition is going to be able to tell the future, which is different than prophecy. So for me, I have the gift of prophecy, and I don't like saying that living in the Bible Belt. That doesn't feel necessarily safe for me to be like, I have the gift of prophecy. Jesus did too. That just sounds weird. But so that's a thing. Here we go. I'm curious. Has anyone ever experienced mediumship, where you basically serve as a conduit for otherworldly beings?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a really clear. It's mediumship where I still have possession of my body, but I'm actively speaking and working with entities. It's usually grandmas, to be honest. Grandmas love to hang around. They do. They just want to hang around all their grandchildren.
But that's your vibe, right?
Dirty vibe?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. But that's really what it is. It's a bunch of grandmas, a bunch of fathers who passed away. Just close entities to whoever.
It's a thing, and I'm like, it's just, we are so weird. Humans are so weird. If we were allowed to be the weirdos that we are, could you imagine how much more colorful life would be? As long as it's not coming from this righteous place, right? Because here's the thing. So what if Alan is empathic and he can feel everything that I am emotionally going through? Okay. Alan can feel everything I'm emotionally going through. And I am a medium, and I am channeling, which is quite different. It's different than mediumship. So say I'm a channeler and I'm channeling a galactic being. Okay. So Alan might sense me feeling really manic, right? Because for me to channel the galactic beings, my frequency has to be high because they vibrate at a higher frequency consciousness. So he may see me as, oh, Jane's just manic, right? And I'm literally channeling the galactics, right? And then we have, say, Zachary here, and he's got telepathy, so he can hear what's happening in both of our minds, right? So unless we all can come together with all of these gifts, be able to show them and be them, and also be able to be really compassionate for the way others are experiencing their life and sharing it, that's where we actually can start to make this really big, super badass cauldron of superhumans. There's so I don't know. I know it's the spiritual gift. I just don't know what it's named as, and I'm trying to read through it real quick. But one of the spiritual gifts that I love when people have, because it's not mine, It's, and there's got to be a name for it. No, I'm not seeing it. Okay. It's when you basically you can talk to or have a relationship or a knowing with plants, animals, rocks, the earth, the water, like not just the clouds. And maybe these are different gifts if you can talk to the waters and you know what the waters are saying, or you know what this, like there are some people that can legit pick up this rock and know where it came from, how it was mined, what it feels like. They can know more about this rock just because they feel it and sense it in their being. You know, they'll know that if you take the bark of this tree, and they've never studied this, right? But if you take the bark of this tree and you hold it in your left hand for 5 minutes, then you have this magical experience and like licking a toad or whatever, you know, like they just know this stuff. So these are other spiritual gifts that like aren't in this giant list. So, hey, Darlene. And Tina says, I believe that there will be a time where we'll know everything and everyone at once and not be overwhelmed. Dear God, I'm hoping for that one. I really am. Hoping for that one.
How many pages is that list? Is it just 2 or is it like a whole chapter?
It's these 2 lists and then a little bit on this page. It is an entire book of everything that is energy, from the history of everything energetic, from different worldly perspectives, the quantum, the everything.
What's the name of the book again?
The Complete Book of Chakras by Cindy Dale.
What's a chakra?
They're energy centers that are, most of them are within our body, but we also have them on the outside of our body. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Jen, is there anything with, this is all new to me, with like numbers in there? Like numerology, numbers?
Are you seeing numbers?
No, I was just, no, not like I'm just flat, no. But I'm just interested if there's anything with numbers, you know.
It's not in here.
Okay.
And yes, it is. Like there are some people that just, more than just, not, and I don't say just to minimize it, but more than just seeing like, oh, I see 5s all the time. More than that.
Right.
But like kind of like I can look at Alice and be like, I see 8s around you. Or 8 something for you. Yeah, you know, like that.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of talking about.
Yep.
Like numbers, you know. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not in that book, but that is.
Yes. Yeah. So basically all those things that make us like weird, that like ain't nobody else seeing, and you can't really explain it, but you know it, you see it, you sense it, you know it. That these are actual gifts. So like recognizing them, honoring them, honing them. And how do we hone them? We have like just a couple more minutes, and then we can still be able to like carry on this conversation, and then I'll have to close this. But like, how can we hone spiritual gifts? Let's just popcorn this, because I know y'all got just like some like boop, 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 boop. Meditation. Guidance, teachers. Books.
Like a old belief system.
Changing belief systems. Yeah, because if you think that all this is BS, then you're not gonna. You have too much doubt and a disbelief. It literally won't happen. You know.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yep.
You can find tools, crystals can help.
Yes. Other tools, divination tools, you know, crystals, things that reconnect us, you know, an altar, you know, something that kind of brings us back to something outside of self. Oh, so I can remember to go back inside myself, you know, huh? Journaling. Yes. Yes. Painting, drawing, coloring, creation, dance, movement, expression, writing poetry. These things will activate our spiritual gifts because it moves our energy in our body and clears any blockages out of the way. And then all of a sudden it's like, I come online. I am here. Okay. Ooh, I can sense this. I can see this better. It's almost like, has anyone ever smoked cigarettes? Yeah. So when you quit smoking, you start tasting everything so much more. Right? Has anyone ever had an addiction? Okay, cool. So I'm not the only one. So when you stop the addiction and you start to kind of come after like all that kind of like that hardship from having that experience, like an unhealthy relationship with something outside of self, and you come back to you, then it's like every experience that you have with you is so much more full and robust. Like you literally are feeling this robust life just being in community, in conversation, having a dinner, cooking dinner, drinking water, whatever it is, it's just more fulfilling. So these things, coming back to health and wellness, is a really easy and probably one of the hardest ways to activate and hone our spiritual gifts. Coming back into health and wellness, drinking water, fruits and veggies, breathing big full breaths, getting fresh air, being in the sunlight. Little things. So I'm going to pause this, and I would love to, Tina says, shut us off. Where's the raspberry emoji? Yes, Tina says there's a whole system where the universe can be seen in numbers and numerical patterns. Yeah, I see a lot of those patterns, and that's real hard for me to explain because it's so multidimensional that I'm like, I see shapes. So yeah, that's the thing. I'm so happy that you all were here to join and to share. And like, I love this. Thank you so much for being here. Keep taking care of yourselves and each other, and keep amplifying those spiritual gifts and play with them. Anyway, I love you all so much, and I will see you all so soon.